Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Russia threatens left and right. Russia warns left and right. Russia talks about if you guys do this, there's a red line, this goes too far, and nothing happens. Then they will keep doing what they've been doing. I mean, it's like you are with a child. Let's say you have a son or a daughter, and it's a toddler, or let's say 6, 7 years old. And obviously you have to train the kid, right? You give an upbringing the kid. You train the kid. What are you going to do? One of the main idea is, have to provide punishments or rewards. Actions have consequences. And you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, you're not going to be educating the kid. You're not going to be training the kid. Consistency means if you tell the child, that's a red line, if you cross that red line, this is what's going to happen. You have to enforce that each and every time. Because if you sometimes do it and sometimes you don't do it, the child is confused and is not going to know, oh, sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't work. And they're very good psychologists, just so you know, the kids. And the people who had kids. So what's going on here? First, we have this article from the Kiev Independent. Wednesday, February 8, 2023. Russia threatens, quote-unquote, consequences if UK gives jets to Ukraine. Okay, what kind of consequences? I mean, it's okay. You can say it, but let's see exactly who says what, right? And I'm not quoting, I'm just saying what the article states. If the UK gives Ukraine fighter jets, there will be consequences for Europe and entire world. The Russian embassy threatened on February 8. I don't see any quotation marks, so that can't be what the Russian embassy said, first thing, unless these guys are illiterate or something. One, they don't use the right punctuation. That's the first thing. The second one, is Russian embassy signed by anybody or is just Russian embassy? Okay, next one. From where? From Ukraine? From London? Which one is it? This first one is evasive. It's like, I don't know what you guys are talking about. And then they switch to a different subject. Not subject, a different area. Earlier, in the day, British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak said that no type of military aid was off the table, including combat aircraft, when it comes to military aid to Ukraine. Sunak made a statement at a joint press conference with President Volodymyr Zelensky during his visit to the UK. Now, UK Defense Minister Ben Wallace was asked to look into what planes can be sent to Ukraine. Sunak also said the United Kingdom would train Ukrainian pilots to operate NATO standard aircraft, including British-made tech. Zelensky made a surprise visit to London where he met with the heads of state as well as King Charles III on February 8. In his speech to the British Parliament, Zelensky asked for planes in order to be able to resist and overcome Russia. And he was dressed again like a thug. So he met a king dressed like a thug, no etiquette, nothing, just took a dump on British tradition and customs and everything, because he can. Like he's the boss, that's another thing, it makes you wonder, who the hell is the boss? He comes over there as a beggar and he takes a dump on your traditions. Good job. Now I look down here, I don't see anything else anymore. This is the entire article. Now I wonder, the first sentence here, there's no quotation mark, what embassy, what kind of threat is so evasive? So I said, okay, let me just go to a different article which probably is going to tell us more. All right, again, threats, and we're going to do this and consequences. So we have this one that I thought is going to tell us more than these guys tell us. So I found this in other media outlets. I just picked this KFJO. Russia, NATO involvement in Ukraine threatens unpredictable escalation. This is obviously Shoigu. Let's see what kind of Escalations is this guy talking about. Unpredictable escalations. Like what? Russia's defense, this is per Reuters, so Reuters reported this. Russia's defense minister said on Tuesday that Western arms supplies to Ukraine were effectively dragging NATO into the conflict. Now, to be straight to the point, I heard this since March 2022. You haven't done shit, so keep your mouth shut. Warning this could lead to an unpredictable escalation. I've been hearing this, and the guys trampled your red lines, and you were crying like babies. It's another, they crossed all the red lines. Okay, it's a red line, that means it's a red line, you're going to do something. What about what the consequences? Nothing. Oh, we're going to blow them up. That was supposed to be. What are the consequences? Nothing. That's why they keep crossing back and forth, because he didn't do anything. So you better keep your mouth shut and, do whatever you need to do. Stop talking. Oh, this is going to escalate. Pfft. Do they look like they care? Do they act like they care? Why do you keep saying that? Just for the population, so they hear you? Because if it escalates where you probably are hinting is going to escalate, there's not going to be any arbiters after that. There's not going to be anybody to say, well, see, after all, the Russians, they did what they said they will do. And there's not going to be anybody to say that. And the guys, they're going to be hiding in their little stupid bunkers for one more month. After that, they will be dying of exposure or, how do you call it? Lack of food. So, and air and other shit. So it's not going to be anybody say, oh, yeah, see, they were right after all that if they escalated, they will. So what's the point? That's why I liked, for instance, when I was a kid, I liked the movies with Chuck Norris or with Charles Bronson. Actually, Charles Bronson is my favorite actor because he was doing shit. He was talking like this and he was doing like this. The same with Chuck Norris. He was just acting. Didn't talk much, just doing it. The same with, shut the hell up. Just if you have something to do, do it. Don't talk. Anyway, let's go back to this weasel, which I think he is a weasel, just so you know. And I'm quoting here, see the quotation marks. The US and its allies are trying to prolong the conflict as much as possible. We know that. Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu said in a conference call with military officials, and I'm quoting again. To do this, they have started supplying heavy offensive weapons, openly urging Ukraine to seize our territories. Well, that's discussable. In fact, such steps are dragging NATO countries into the conflict and could lead to an unpredictable level of escalation. They seem to not care, or maybe they do the same thing they did before you guys entered Ukraine. They were waiting for it. Not waiting like, waiting for it. His allusion to, I'm quoting, our territory appeared to be a reference to 4 regions in eastern and southern Ukraine, Donetsk, Luhansk, Zaporozhye and Kherson, that Russia claims to have annexed following referendums last September condemned by Kiev and its Western allies as illegitimate. Yeah, but how about Kosovo? Why was that legitimate? Anyway, you know why. Much of the territory in the Russian-claimed regions remains in Ukrainian hands. Okay, yeah, that's true. Not much, some. I would claim. If you look at the map, it's some, not much. If much means a lot or more, then it's incorrect. According to what the Russians said, there's their goal. But the goals now change because if, as I said on previous videos, if the Ukrainians receive, and they will receive long-range missile systems that will be having a 150-kilometer range, the Russians said that we will push the front as far, or as much to the west, that those that range cannot, those missiles with the whatever range they will have, cannot hit the territory. So let's say this is the border, the Russians push the Ukrainians, let's say here, say, okay, this is where we're gonna get to. That's all we want. From here we have to just hit you and destroy your army, your weapons, because that's what we say, the militarization, whatever. And we're gonna do this forever. But if you have, the Ukrainians have, let's say, 150 kilometers range for their missiles, that's, if they bring it here to the border, and they go 150 kilometers here, then Russia says, no, we're going to push you from here There's going to be the demarcation, the border, but from here, we're going to push you until your range comes to our territory. So we're going to push you 150 kilometers west of our border until you can't hit east of our border. And this is going to be a no man land or a buffer zone. It would eventually, probably they think, is going to be peacekeeping forces or maybe even Russian forces. But their population will be demarcated right here. Russia, here Ukraine, but buffer zone here because you have the rockets. But I wonder, or missiles. But I wonder if the Ukrainians will receive 3,000, I'm just exaggerating, kilometer range. The Russians are going to put them 3,000 kilometers from here there. They're going to get to where? To Berlin? I guess so. So that's the thing with prolong. It's going to prolong forever. And then it says Moscow has repeatedly accused the West and NATO military alliance of playing a direct role in the Ukraine conflict by supplying arms to Kiev, and has warned the NATO weapons are, and I'm quoting, legitimate targets for its armed forces. Yeah, okay, that goes without saying. But that's not with the same as alliance playing a direct role. If someone plays a direct role, then you do something about it. I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean. If I'm right here and I'm arguing with my neighbor, and my neighbor receives some weapons that could destroy me from the other neighbor, what do you think I'm going to do? I'm going to go to the other neighbor, and if I can, I'm going to grab him by the balls, and I say, if you continue, I'm going to squeeze them, I'm going to make them explode. That's what I would do with the neighbor. And if he said, okay, and once I left, he's doing that, then I have to do that because he crossed the line. Otherwise, I keep my mouth shut. I mean, you're directly implicated because without your gun, my family, my fighters would not die. So yes, you are implicated. So I would go right there. It's like you're in a house and you have a water pipe brace. You're not gonna just use towels and squeegees and buckets when the water is dripping. No, you go straight to the source that provides the water in my house, and that hose or the pipe is those guys who provide the weapons to me to drain my blood. The same here. I'm gonna go straight to the pipe and I'm gonna fix that. First, I'm gonna try to turn off the water. That's how you do first thing. The water is that. What's so hard? I'm not going to say, well, I'm going to just use my towels and I'm going to just suck the water from, it's going to be dripping, it's going to be coming in, and I just take care of the water. But hey, you're implicated water because you come in. No, I go down in the basement, turn it off, no more water coming from the city, and then I repair the pipe, and that's it. And then I turn on if I need to, turn that, and it's not going to come in my house. But I have to go straight to the source. The source is those guys that pour weapons that's going to affect me. What's so hard? Shoigu. But they're not ready to do that because that would mean they would explode the world. They would blow up the world. And it seems like they're still, able to keep that down, which is a good thing. But if they get cornered, then I don't know. Things might happen. I hope they don't get to that point. The United States has sent more than $20 billion worth of military aid to Ukraine since Russians invaded last February. That's not really true because I covered an article a minute ago with Stoltenberg, who visits Washington right now, and he said that actually it's United States gave about $30 billion only in military, and altogether the West gave, according to Stoltenberg, $120 billion since February last year. So I know 20 is not enough. But anyway, it's Reuters. What do you expect? Ukraine says weapons as well as other military supplies, include tanks, are urgently needed to stave off Russian attacks and boost its firepower for a spring offensive against Moscow forces. Ukraine officials said Moscow is accumulating arms and reserves for a renewed assault in the coming weeks. But I have a question. I covered an article a minute ago. Biden said that Putin already lost Ukraine. So if he lost, what sense does it make to send more weapons to Ukraine? So again, and then here they say, wait a second, the Russians did not lose yet because they're ready for offensive. And they are in offensive operations on 5 fronts in Donetsk and 3 in Luhansk. And they're advancing in Bakhmut, just to mention one. So Biden again talks nonsense. And Shoigu again, I don't know what Shoigu wants, but Shoigu, I don't know, Shoigu or and Peskov are weak links. I gotta tell you that one. No. Anyway, Shoigu also said on Tuesday that military operations near Vuhledar and the city of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine, where Russia has intensified its offensive, were progressing well. Even the Ukrainians said that. They didn't say progressing well, little by little with a lot of losses. Okay, yeah, but still, are they going forward? Yes, that's what matters for Russians right now. Fighting has focused for months around the Ukrainian-held city of Bakhmut in eastern Donetsk province, which Russia has been trying to encircle. I think it's already done, but anyway. Moscow has also launched an assault further south against Vuhledar, a Ukrainian-held bastion at the strategic intersection between the eastern and southern front lines. Today, I've checked my regular 4 sources from Ukraine, and I didn't get any information about the front. 3 rockets here, 1 mortars there, that's it. Nothing about Vuhledar, nothing about Bakhmut, nothing about Liman, nothing about Zaporozhye, nothing about all the Avdiivka, all the hotspot, nothing, 0. Which means things are going not very well for the Ukrainians, because otherwise they will say, we repelled this, the Ukrainians are not advancing, we killed 3,000 Russians in past 20 minutes, and so on. Nothing. All 4 sources, all 4. And it's Ukrainska Pravda, I'm just saying, Kiev Independent, New Voice of Ukraine, Ukrinform, and there's some other ones, but these are the main ones. Nothing. Not even the Americans, not even the Brits, not even the Russians. So I don't know what's going on. I mean, I can assume what's going on. When these guys keep quiet, that means they can't even talk. But anyway, maybe more so. They will talk more when they are like that. We'll find out tomorrow. One day we will find out. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.